In looking for a job, one of the considerations is, do I use a recruiter? What does a recruiter do? How could a recruiter help me? And so let's just talk a minute about recruiters and how they can help you. First of all, there are basically two kinds of recruiters. One recruiter actually works for the employer. They are an employee of the employer, and they only represent the jobs that that employer has. And so they are very mission-minded. They are very clear about what they're looking for and what they have to offer. And so connecting with a recruiter with an employer is gold. So you want to be sure to be alert for, look for opportunities to connect with and build relationships with corporate recruiters, with employers that you would like to work for. So that's one. But then there are thousands of recruiting firms and staffing firms that have recruiters that represent employers, so that I've been a recruiter since 1976. So over that period of time, I've represented 100 different companies and ministries in recruiting for key positions. So that being said, I know something about the company, and I know what the jobs are, and I know how to connect you. So that's the value of these other recruiters, whether they are with staffing firms or temp agencies, or sometimes they're called executive search firms. Regardless of what they call them, these people can be very, very helpful. Now, let me just put a little asterisk next to these recruiting firms. There are some firms that when you work with them, if the employer does not pay a fee for you to be hired, they're going to look to you to pay the fee. So I don't want to frighten you, but that just means that as you are beginning to work with a recruiter, you want to ask the question. If they ask you to sign something, then you want to have somebody in addition to yourself read the detail of what you're responsible for financially. My bottom line recommendation is, if you personally have to pay a fee for finding the job through a recruiter, do not work with that recruiter. Only work with recruiters that get paid by the employers. Now, how do you find these recruiters? I mean, they're probably like anybody else. Some are good and some are bad, or some are ugly, and nobody wants to deal with the bad and the ugly. So to find good recruiters, you think about recruiting good recruiters, and you do that best by talking to others who know you, talking to people on your job search to say, who are some good recruiters that you've worked with? Are there any that specialize? And all recruiters really wind up specializing by some particular occupation or some particular industry because they didn't know a lot of people in that category. In fact, that's just one of the biggest advantages. If you're trying to move into a new career, a new occupation, even to a new location, or you're just running out of contacts and you need more contacts, then you want to consider using a recruiter. So you find the recruiter through personal referrals, and you use that referral's name to call the recruiter and say, Bill Smith said you're really great, and I'm looking for a job. Can you talk to me? And so you have a conversation over the phone. Maybe you go in and talk to them in person. But you're looking to build a relationship, not just to sell yourself, but also to get to know them to decide, do you really want to work with them? Finally, if you find some good recruiters, you want to build a relationship when they're looking for people for jobs, maybe not jobs you would be interested in. Help them be appropriate, build a relationship, because over time, they could easily deliver, meaning they have the job, they do the introduction, they help you get ready for interviewing and maybe even help negotiate the final salary and all the rest of that. They could be invaluable, but they're only part of the equation, but they are a very important part of that equation. So good luck in recruiting recruiters.